How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. US releases Tornado Cash founder on bail after $1 billion money laundering charge. So, Roman Storm, one of the founders of the sanctioned mixer Tornado Cash, was released on bail. This is kind of worrisome as it implies that prosecutors would be able to go after any kind of programmer for software they made. This case against the client is far-reaching and could impact all software developers, as Storm is being charged with money laundering for developing Tornado Cash rather than actually laundering money. According to the press release from the DOJ, Storm, alongside Roman Stemenov, another Tornado Cash founder, was charged with conspiracy to help Lazarus earlier this week, which is the North Korean hacking group. So just because they made the tool and people are using it for bad things, they are being charged because they can't find the people that are doing the bad actions to charge them with. Makes sense. US Justice. Ripple vs. SEC, unrevealed XRP memo put into spotlight by legal analyst. John Deedon found a 2018 memo from enforcement lawyers that did not recommend any action against Ripple for sale of XRP tokens. So this is kind of weird. The lack of recommendation implies that as of June 13, 2018, the lawmakers at the SEC were not convinced XRP should be classified as a security, so that questions why Gary Gensler is going after them, but it also kind of shed some light that Ripple executives could have known that they were in potential violation of securities laws, and they could have done something sooner if they are actually going to be charged with anything. Latin American firm Hashdex joins Bitcoin spot ETF scrum with distinct plan. So, unlike everyone else that wants to use Coinbase to monitor their ETF, Hashdex ETF application is unusual because it will acquire spot Bitcoin price from within regulated CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the futures market, through its existing Bitcoin's futures ETF. So it's going to use an existing ETF to help with this ETF. According to its official NSYE ARCA filing to the SEC, Hashdex proposes to use the exchange for physical transactions to acquire and dispose of spot Bitcoin instead of transactions on unregulated spot exchanges. So instead of trying to do it on some random DeFi network or something that could get hacked, they want to do it through this CME or through the NYSE rather than through one of these shady places that could take their money. This approach could provide financial regulators with greater assurance, as cryptocurrency prices could be traced by the movements within a tightly regulated market instead of the broader unregulated market. So onto the charts. Don't know why we're way down there. So as long as my video doesn't kind of crap out on me, make sure we're doing good. Make sure the pop-up didn't even pop up yesterday. It just said, hey, we stopped, and didn't tell me. Very helpful. But we do still have this triangle that we are in within our triangle, pushing lower, so we still have that breakdown possibility that we did discuss last night. If you didn't catch the video, I also had an issue with YouTube, full of problems last night. But stochastic's pretty flat, not really going anywhere. That RSI wants to come up. The VWAP is overall struggling, getting lower highs. It did get bounced off that neutral, so it does have bullish momentum. If we get a green candle tomorrow, we could push away and validate this possibility, but we would still be within the larger symmetrical triangle here. That could still break us down. So don't get too filled with hopium unless we break through all our supports and come up through this golden pocket. Then we may have like some kind of crazy run up if that could happen. But we're going to need to get through all these supports first and then validate our pattern. We have two supports to get through, or resistances at this point, and then we have the resistance of the pattern. Money flow is trying to come up though, so if the money flow can break bullish, we could see a push forward. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are pretty flat, so A little bit of buying that happened yesterday is being replaced with selling, pretty flat overall. RSI is overall losing some strength, stochastic's starting to curl away. That VWAP is kind of sketchy, it doesn't have very much strength, and we're coming down, so that VWAP could break to the bearish territory and bring us lower. Our money flow is still trending deep into the bearish territory, so that could bring us lower as well. And that momentum does want to come up, but that VWAP's struggling, so it's just getting stretched along here. Not going to cover the 4 hour or anything unless you guys want me to, but no one's ever commented, yes, I want that. RSI is starting to fall, stochastic's starting to round off. That VWAP is pretty flat. The money flow is trying to come up toward that neutral. So if the money flow can break through that neutral, we get a bullish trend. However, if it starts to arch away here, we'll set up another bearish trend, and we could test the support down here at 24.9. If we break that, then that's where we would see that 20k fill most likely. The momentum does want to kind of curl up here. The VWAP's kind of struggling though, so it's acting very similar to the Bitcoin dominance right now. Over on Bitcoin, RSI is pretty flat. Our stochastic looks like it wants to give up some strength here. We are trying to make a bounce off the bottom of this pattern, but if we don't get too much strength here, we could get rejected and see that breakdown. Our momentum is trying to come up. The VWAP's overall trending out, so it does have a little bit of bullish strength, but it's not maintaining very much strength. And we look at the 4 hour, VWAP's starting to come down, so if it breaks through the neutral, that daily is likely going to weaken and get even weaker. That momentum is going to roll over, RSI is starting to roll over, stochastic has a bearish cross and could end up breaking down from here. Our money flow is trying to come up. It's gone pretty flat though around this 10. So if it starts to flatten out and curl away, just watch if we make a new low. If we make a new low somewhere around here or lower, we could form another downtrend. Or if we kind of start stair-stepping down. However, if we make a higher low, kind of dip down, come back up, and test that neutral, we could kick off a bullish trend then. Over on the 2 hour, we do have a green dot here. It does want to push us up. We have this reversal arrow. So these usually end up bringing you up pretty decently. We're going to have to see if it can gain some strength or not. If this reversal arrow gets followed by a red candle, usually you'll see a pretty violent move down from that. So just watch the next couple candles. At moment, our stochastic does want to push up. It looks like it wants to get a bullish cross, so if it can get a bullish cross, that could help push us up. Our RSI is overall kind of flat. It's zigzagging around right around this like 55 zone. Our momentum is starting to come out. It does have a red dot, so our VWAP is in the bearish territory. If that VWAP continues to carry down, we'll see the 4 hour and daily weaken, and the momentum will start to carry down as well. Money flow is starting to taper out, so overall we do have a little bit of bullishness, but it looks like it's subsiding with the money flow. The money flow is pretty much money coming in or out of the asset. RSI is coming down, stochastic's coming down, as stochastic wants to make a bullish cross and push the RSI up, so that could help. The RSI is in a bit of a downtrend, so it could end up breaking down if we're not careful. Now on the 1 hour, we have a manipulation that's here, so if we get some big red candles and push down, we could see a breakdown, validate that green dot, and see that move down. Our VWAP is getting kind of consistent lows, trying to push back up. That VWAP's trying to break through that neutral. If the VWAP can break through the neutral and gain some bullish momentum, it could help carry us up. However, if this VWAP curls away here, we could end up with a bearish trend and push lower. Over on graph for the daily, we're not very strong here. Indecision candle, we're really weakening the support the longer we hit it. We do have the possibility to come back down, fill these wicks. Now stochastic does have a bearish divergence that is pushing, or bearish cross. RSI overall is coming out. That money flow is trending out overall. We do have slightly lower highs with lower lows, but we are getting kind of flat, so if the money flow, if we can get some sort of green candle tomorrow, that could help turn the money flow. However, if we get a red candle tomorrow, it's likely the money flow could come down. Now the money flow is starting to turn already, so we're going to have to watch it. Our momentum's not doing too hot as that VWAP is struggling over on the 4 hour here. That VWAP keeps going between bullish and bearish, just flipping around, doesn't really know where it wants to go. Our prices has just been on and off this support all day long. We haven't really gone anywhere away from it, so this is really weak at this point. As stochastic looks like it could bend down, which if it does, that could push the RSI down. The money flow is in the bullish territory, but it looks like it's struggling to gain a momentum past the 6, so if it doesn't get past the 6 and rejects from here, we could get a bearish trend down and see that breakdown. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic is overall trying to get a little bit of a bullish cross. Kind of hard to see. We are trying to push up. RSI is trying to bounce up, but that money flow is starting to come out, so that money flow is a little worrisome. If the money flow breaks through the neutral, we could see a bearish trend start. That VWAP is trying to trend against that neutral on the bearish side, so if the VWAP can break to the bullish side, that could help push our money flow up. That momentum wave does want to come up as our VWAP's trying to push up. We do have some sort of possible divergence here, but it's kind of sloppy to try and draw. Over on the 1 hour, we have a couple manipulation X's here and here. We have a reversal arrow that wanted to push us away, but we ultimately fell through. We did push back into our pattern, but this could be a retest, so watch if we end up breaking down and pushing lower. RSI is overall starting to arch out, but our stochastic is trying to push up. If that stochastic can break through the 30, the RSI may be able to start to turn and push higher. That VWAP is running up in the bullish territory, pushing our momentum up, so that is good for the 1 hour. However, if it starts to weaken around this 10 zone, that could be about all the steam we would get, and then we could see a pullback. Our money flow is overall starting to arch out and getting close to that neutral, so the money flow could break to the bearish side, so just exercise some caution, especially since we're hitting this support. Over on the daily for anchor, our stochastic is trying to push, but we are getting pretty tight. We could end up in a bearish cross, and that could push us lower. Our price action is kind of testing the support as well, so just keep an eye on that. Our momentum wants to come up. That VWAP is overall arching out, so keep an eye on that. And the money flow is struggling to maintain any kind of strong bullish trend, so we could end up pushing away here if we're not careful. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a little bit of a breakdown starting, so this could be a retest. Watch the next candle. If it's the red candle that pushes us lower, then this pattern would be starting its breakdown. RSI could trend out. That stochastic's coming out. It does want to cross, so it could make a bounce, so just watch it. That VWAP is getting lower lows, so we do have a bearish trend on that. If we continue with that bearish trend, that could help bring us down. The money flow is struggling to maintain any kind of bullish momentum, and we keep getting rejected, so if we don't cross and gain some strength, then it's likely this retest will fail and will fall away. And momentum is overall coming out, so we are pushing down a little bit. Keep an eye on that as that VWAP's coming down, giving it no strength. Over on the 2 hour, you can see we have a few green candles trying to knock on the support, so we are trying to push back up, but we aren't really getting through. The RSI wants to come back up, as stochastic wants to make a bullish cross. The money flow overall is coming up, and that VWAP wants to go through that neutral. Real quick, if you haven't already, hit that like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment if you want to see another coin, and we'll cover it tomorrow. Our momentum wants to come up. VWAP wants to come up, wants to push through that neutral. So if the VWAP can break through the neutral and the money flow can maintain bullish strength and keep pushing forward, we could break through the support or resistance rather, and make it support to push higher and invalidate this pattern. Over on the 1 hour, we're not looking very good though, so wouldn't get too excited if we pull back into the pattern. We could come back, fill this gap right around this 1989, and then we could pull back down and fill this gap around this 1972. That is one possibility. We have some other gaps that we could fill too from yesterday, so if you want to know those, watch yesterday's video. But if we pull away from here, fill this gap now, that would set up a pretty decent trajectory to fill those gaps later, as there would be multiples of them, but that's not a guarantee. Gaps do tend to fill, but they are only 80%, nothing's 100%. Stochastic's trying to run up, RSI's trying to head up, that VWAP's trying to run up. The money flow is overall in a bearish trend, so if we roll over here, we could end up breaking down. The momentum's getting a green dot as that VWAP's pushing up, but if the VWAP kind of loses some steam, gets rejected like back here, then we could end up pushing down and invalidate that green dot, so just watch out. If the next candle's green, we could continue our push up and fill that gap, and then if we continue, we could fill our other gaps. However, if it's red, it's likely we'll fill this gap, see this pattern fill, and then possibly fill all the other gaps as we make our retest. Over on XRP, we are pretty flat here, nothing too exciting. Stochastic's pretty flat, that RSI is pretty flat, VWAP's not really going anywhere, money flow's still in the bearish territory, somewhat gridlocked between 8 and 13. So we are in that bit of a bearish trend. We are starting to kind of reject away down here too. For anyone in my Discord, I'll be teaching my Discord how to learn what this means and how to decipher it. But just know that if we get rejected, that's not too good. Our money flow is struggling, like I said, momentum wants to come up, but with that VWAP struggling to move anywhere, that momentum's not getting very much lift up. Over on the 4 hour, so we pretty much invalidated that triangle possibility by riding sideways here, and we could end up forming more of like a flag where maybe this is our support level, this is our resistance level, these have hit, these were freak out breaks, and the rest is something in between. Our stochastic is starting to arch out, RSI is starting to arch out, that momentum is starting to come down. The money flow does want to go through that neutral, but it did get rejected and it is heading down. If we get a lower high and then follow it with a lower low, we could set up a bearish trend and start to drop down. That VWAP is pushing lower, so just keep that in mind as well. This could be more of a symmetrical triangle at this point, which could be a 50-50 to push up and break down. If it is, that would also be a bear flag as we came from a breakdown. So over on the 2 hour, we have a manipulation X here that wants to push us lower. We are trying to push up though, so if we get green candles, we could invalidate that. However, it could end up bringing us down like the last couple times, so keep that in mind. As stochastic is dumping down, RSI is falling pretty hard. The money flow is starting to arch out. We do have a bullish trend as we're getting higher highs with higher lows currently, so if we can bounce here, that would be positive. However, if the money flow rejects away here and starts to arch out, we could be in danger of breaking down. That VWAP does want to push up, but we are kind of in a support resistance area, so if you see it curl down, we could end up setting ourselves up for another leg down. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is overall losing strength. Stochastic had a bearish divergence that kind of kicked us down a little bit. That money flow isn't really getting much strength over this 11 where it's kind of riding right now. So if we don't break over the spot right here, we could end up with a rejection and the money flow could come out. So keep that in mind. Red money flow, bearish trend. VWAP is trying to push up toward that neutral, but it's kind of struggling. If you're wondering what the exact name of this indicator is, Here you go. Market cipher A is this one. This one's market cipher B. Real quick, indicators, market cipher B like that, and market cipher A. I have the free ones. You don't need to pay for them. These are real good indicators. Over on Algo. So, if you didn't get those indicators yet, you should. But there you go. We are getting a little bit of a push down from our pattern. Sorry, something in my eye. RSI is starting to push away. Our stochastic starting to push away. The money flow is trying to trend up despite our breakdown starting. So we're about about third, maybe halfway from our breakdown with this wick. So it is possible that could be all our breakdown and we could pump back up too, because you're not always going to get 100% of your move. But that momentum has a red dot and wants to come down as the VWAP's starting to fall bearish, so that could end up kicking things down. Over on the 4 hour, we're pretty flat here. Neck itch is real bad, sorry. RSI is starting to taper off. Stochastic's starting to round out. We are looking like we could set up some bearish momentum if we continue with red candles. The momentum does want to come up, but the VWAP's starting to trend out and the stochastic's starting to round out. If that stochastic continues to round, that RSI will bend out, and overall that could help set us down to push lower. And if we break below this zone, we would have that wick. Over on the 2 hour, we are trying to get a little bit of a sideways action. That's not good if we keep doing that, because that could form a break, bearish flag that could break us down because we came from a drop. RSI is trying to head up, the stochastic's trying to trend up. The money flow is starting to reject away though, so watch the next few candles. If this rejection continues and we get a lower low from this rejection, we could see lower price action. VWAP's in the bearish territory but it wants to go bullish, so watch if it can get another spike up. However, if it doesn't get a strong move up and sustain, it's likely will end up dropping down. The momentum has a red dot as that VWAP's kind of wishy-washy. Over on the 1 hour here, zoom in. Real hard to see that candle as it's an indecisive candle. RSI is rolling over. Stochastic wants to make a bullish cross. That VWAP wants to push up, and the money flow is overall trending out. So we are kind of looking like we could set up a bearish move down, but the stochastic does want to rebound with that VWAP. So if they can maintain their bullish momentum, our other indicators may start to round up. However, if our other indicators keep pushing down and these round away from their current zones, we could get rejections that could break us down and see lower price targets, so keep that in mind. Over on Doge for the daily, we are pretty flat, nothing too great. This might be some sort of, I don't know, kind of hard to tell. Could be a bull flag, but it could also be a bear flag forming. Kind of wishy-washy. Maybe we form a little bull flag within a bear flag and we push up, fill these wicks and come back down. I'll have to kind of watch. RSI is pretty flat. Stochastic looks like it could round away. That VWAP is struggling to get newer highs and looks like it's kind of losing some of its steam. The money flow wants to head up but just can't get through that neutral. So keep an eye on it. If the money flow can't get green, then we could ultimately reject and fill these candle wicks. The momentum does want to come up, but with that VWAP weakening, that momentum's not looking too promising. Over on the 4 hour, we are getting a little bit of a reversal arrow after a manipulation X, so that's kind of like some indecision. Manipulation X's say you want to drop down, but the reversal arrow is trying to contradict it. That could be signaling a push up. However, if it's saying the trend will reverse, then it could be in line with these reversal candles and we could see more of a dump, kind of like how that one played, but this one's one before the other. This one, the reversal arrow is first on the X, this is the X on the arrow, so VWAP is pushing down, momentum's starting to round out. That RSI looks like it could lose some steam, and the stochastic's starting to get a bearish cross, and the VWAP is pushing down. So if we don't get a strong green candle in the next candle or two, it's likely the money flow could break bearish and we could get a rejection. Over on the 2 hour, we have another manipulation that's trying to bring us down, so just full of them tonight. Our stochastic wants to push down. It has a bullish cross, so that could try to push us up. That money flow is arching out though, so even though we have some bullish momentum, the money flow, the people are selling. VWAP does want to push up. It looks a little wishy-washy, like it wants to roll away from here though, so keep an eye on that. That momentum does want to make a recovery, but that's going to depend on if the VWAP can break through or not. Over on the 1 hour, our VWAP's looking pretty promising, but the money flow is starting to inch its way out, so pay close attention. That VWAP is right around that 8.7 where we have rejected several times before, so if we start to push down from here, it's likely we could get a leg down. RSI is starting to push away, but our stochastic wants to make a rebound and gain some bullish strength, so if that stochastic can push up, that could strengthen our RSI. That momentum wants to come up, but if that VWAP rolls over, that momentum could just invalidate itself and push lower. Finally, on SHIB, real quick, like the video if you already haven't, we're almost done, so last chance. RSI is going to push down, our stochastic's starting to push down, and money flow is starting to trend out. The momentum does want to come up, but the VWAP's kind of indecisive, so if the VWAP doesn't get some bullish strength, we could see that red dot play out and bring us lower. Over on the 4 hour, we have manipulation X's, so those want to bring us down. That one did, this one did, and we are starting to head down again, so just watch out. Our stochastic is starting to arch out, our RSI is starting to arch out with it. That stochastic has a bearish cross that is pushing down and almost taking all the strength out of it. That VWAP is starting to kind of set a bearish trend. If we continue to a lower low, that wouldn't be very good for us. The money flow was trying to go bullish, but didn't manage to break bullish, and it's starting to inch its way out. If the money flow sets up a new low as well, that would form a bearish trend, and we could ultimately start a rejection from there. The stochastic's starting to push down, so overall, it looks like we have quite a bit of sell pressure here, especially with the way this is looking down here. Over on the 2 hour, we are pushing down. We do have this support zone here, so if we break this support zone, these would be this range right between this 8046 and 7757, or 7757, sorry, so many digits, could end up breaking us down. The RSI is arching out, stochastic's arching out, the money flow has broken into the bearish territory, and the VWAP has a bearish trend. The momentum, is coming down. So overall, we look like we could get a rejection from here if we don't get some strong green candles in the next candle or two. Over on the 1 hour, not looking very promising as we're getting a red candle. If this kicks off with another red candle, we could see a rejection. RSI is arching out, stochastic's coming down. It does want to make a bit of a bounce with a bullish cross, but it's looking a little iffy. The VWAP's overall arching out, the money flow, I'm just all over tonight, I guess. The money flow is starting to arch out, and it looks like it could break through that neutral. Our VWAP does want to push against the neutral territory as well, so if the VWAP can break bullish, that may be able to lift our money flow up and bring our momentum with it. But if the money flow breaks bearish, we could see the VWAP reject with the money flow, and we could get pulled back down, and we could lose this support. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and join the Discord.